Giants training camp has officially kicked off in West Virginia. And after just two practices, the future of this team is already starting to take shape. It's officially the John Harbaugh era. Jaxson Dart is being tested in his new offense, second offense in 2 years, two different offenses. Malik Nabers has made some crucial progress in his recovery, and several young defenders have stood out so far in training camp. But which storyline actually matters, and what could this mean for the New York Football Giants going into the 2026 season? Welcome back to Bet the Over. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, and let's break down the first 2 days of New York Giants football training camp. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Bet the Over. I'm your host, Kev Bo, and as you saw in the intro, we're officially in training camp. The John Harbaugh era has kicked off, and it is no longer the off season. So to start, we're going to get into the quarterback for the New York Football Giants, Jaxson Dart, just because you always start with the quarterback. He's the most important person on the field, and everything surrounding starts with the Giants offense is Jaxson Dart. So Dart last season obviously showed tremendous potential and showed a lot of exciting plays during his rookie year, but now the expectations are slightly different. He's no longer that young rookie quarterback with nothing to lose that was just thrown into the fire and kind of came out, made some flashy plays, and everyone was excited for. Now he's in his sophomore season, learning his second offense in 2 years. Now it's the Matt Nagy offense, and he's going to have to adjust because it is a very different offense from last year. So the biggest challenge for Dart is definitely learning this new system. This is the Giants are asking him to operate a lot more under center, whereas last year it was more of like the shotgun, which might not seem like a big deal, but he's going to have to kind of drop back to his 2 3 step drops, which is different from the shotgun. So it's going to be interesting to see how he adjusts to the new Matt Nagy system. So far, Dart has shown some impressive throws. I know today he threw a couple long passes to Darnell Mooney. Isaiah Likely always gets sprinkled in there, but I'm not really worried about Jaxson Dart in training camp. This is kind of the time to make some mistakes, maybe make some bad throws. You don't want him to, but if he makes a couple bad throws, throws a couple picks, it's not something to be super concerned about because, like I said, it is a new system. You just kind of hope he reads the defense well. What I'm really looking for is if he becomes comfortable in this offense, if he controls the huddle, knows all the play calls, makes the right reads. That's kind of the biggest thing, is getting the ball out on time. Timing in on an offensive or in an NFL offense is kind of key. And most importantly, does the offense move the ball when he's on the field? So because we know Dart can make exciting plays, it's time to prove that he can really become that pocket passer that we hope he develops into. Think of year 2 Lamar, year 2 Josh Allen, where they can run if they need to, but they actually are more of a threat inside the pocket, and then running is the second option. Piggybacking into this next player, the next person that I think could help Dart look very good is star wide receiver Malik Nabers. Can't guard Malik is officially back. I know last week, if you haven't checked out my episode, I talked about him not going on the PUP list, which means he'll be ready to go within the first 4 weeks of the season. Now, watching training camp, he definitely looked very good. He's very important to this offense. He's the true number one wide receiver. And after tearing his ACL and meniscus last year, there were legitimate concerns about how much Nabers will be able to do in the beginning of training camp and even half the season. People were speculating he wasn't going to come back till week 10. So I thought through the first couple practices, early signs have been encouraging. He hasn't been going 100%. He hasn't been his pre-injury fluidity and explosiveness. However, he's been going like 70%, I'd say, and he has looked good. He's been participating in individual drills, running routes, catching passes, and there's still no target date official for his return, but his mindset is continuing to stack good days together. In a press conference I saw today, he said he's felt good. They were asking him how he got through his recovery, how difficult it was for him. He said the team and the whole fan base even was really supporting him, and that motivated him to get back onto the field. So great job, Giants fans, Giants teammates, Giants coaches. We got our wide receiver back. Even though he's not 100%, he's in good spirits, and he definitely has looked very, very good so far. So the attention creates opportunity for everyone else when Malik is on the field. You think about Isaiah Likely, the tight end offseason acquisition. If Malik's getting double teamed, it should open up the middle of the field for him to kind of get open. One of these wide receivers in Darnell Mooney, Calvin Austin, or Darius Slayton, we don't know who's going to be the number two. But if Malik's getting doubled, they gotta win their battle against the corner, because they're not going to get double covered. You can't double cover everyone. And it also frees up the passing game for the running backs. Scatterboo's an underrated pass catcher, but Tyrone Tracy, the former wide receiver, can definitely do some damage in the receiving game. So the biggest thing is Malik Nabers' connection with Jaxson Dart. We saw during Dart's rookie season that that he has potential to kind of control the offense, but we haven't really seen the passing volume at the rate you think we'll see this year. Last year, he was kind of running for his life because there was no weapons outside of Wan'Dale Robinson. So Malik Nabers, easing him into it, running routes, individual drills, is completely different from taking actual contact and making sharp cuts in real time. So I think as the Giants slowly ease him back, it's something for all of us to really look out for. But definitely a positive sign. I'm very excited, and I'm stoked with the Malik Nabers, how he's looked so far. The clip of him and OBJ running next to each other was kind of awesome. I don't know if you saw it, but you could find it on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. And next, we're going to get on to the other side of the ball in the defense. The two offensive players that I think were most important are Dart and Malik. There's obviously other people that are super important, but the young defense now, the biggest name so far of camp has been Abdul Carter. Carter reportedly has had a strong practice the past 2 weeks working against Andrew Thomas, star left tackle, when he's healthy. And that's exactly the type of matchup you want. It's cliche, but iron sharpens iron. If Abdul Carter is winning reps against one of the best left tackles in the league, think about what he could do if he's going up against the not the best tackle in the league. He could really do some damage. And Carter, Andrew Thomas, when he's healthy, he's one of the best left tackles in the league. I personally, I'll give him, I want to say one, but I am a bit biased. Trent Williams is still, even though he's old, he's still doing it great. I'm going to give Andrew Thomas, he's the best left tackle in the league when he's healthy. His combination, strength, technique, athleticism, he's really unmatched. I remember when the Giants drafted him out of Georgia, I was stoked. But the exciting thing about that matchup is Carter is that we really know about the physical tools. He has the speed, he has the explosiveness, he has the flexibility to become an elite pass rusher. But the next step is to become a complete defender where he can win consistently, he can stop the run, and then even you can potentially drop him into coverage because he's just that athletic. Can he consistently do this? We have to see. But his rookie season, I think he did better than most people give credit for. I know they just look at the sacks and think he was a bust, but he had the most pressures out of any rookie in the edge room. And towards the end of the season, it kind of did look like he was starting to hit his stride. He just needs to kind of grow up because he didn't start like 2 games because he was, I don't even know, in the doghouse from the coaches. Next player, Kayvon has had a strong camp so far, including an interception that would have been a return for a touchdown. I think that was today. I know Kayvon isn't really a rookie anymore. I think he's going into his 4th year. He has this is his contract year. So he's still entering the prime of his career, but it feels like kind of a pivotal season for him. If he stays on the Giants, if he performs well, they're going to want to pay him. He's going to increase his value. Or if he does end up hitting free agency, which I think he probably will, he could increase his market significantly if he balls out and plays well this season. So the talent has been there for Kayvon. He's more of a power guy. I feel like he's good at stopping the run. I'll give him that. But I feel like his pass rushing, he doesn't have that twitch that I see out of Abdul Carter. But it's a make or break year for Kayvon. And the Giants really need consistent pass rush this season because they lost, obviously, their big DT in Dexter Lawrence, who was demanding double teams consistently. Deonte Banks, I know he's not a fan favorite, recorded 2 pass breakups today during open practice. Banks has dealt with controversy. He doesn't turn his head around. I complain about him every time he plays corner, but he may not play every snap, but he can potentially give Denard Wilson some value on the defensive side of the ball. He can return kicks. I would love for him to step up and make plays. I think at this point of his career, I don't think it's going to happen because he's in year 3, I think, or 4. But if he ends up, maybe, I don't know, Denard Wilson unlocks the potential that he had being drafted back in 2023, I think, out of Maryland. I remember Wink Martindale was the DC when we drafted him, and I was fired up. Ripped the Wink Martindale pressure bursts pipes. Next, we'll get into Tyler Nubin and Arvell Reese. Bring all different abilities. They also give the Giants something they've desperately needed: young players with star upside, specifically Reese on that one. He was the 4th pick of this year's draft. All the potential in the world. People thought he was going to go number 2. Now, he is a unicorn in a sense where he doesn't have a true position, although he did mostly play outside linebacker at Ohio State, and he was fantastic there. And he wasn't at outside linebacker for a very long time, so he still has room to grow, and he is truly a freak of nature. People project him to kind of move up and become a star pass rusher, but for this season, I think he's going to play outside linebacker or maybe even some middle linebacker next to Tremaine Edmonds and really anchor and be the quarterback of the defense. So the foundations are there for this team. I think in even 2 or 3 years, these young defenders can make a major jump, or in year 2 of 3, and the identity of the team can completely change. So overall, the training camp so far has been very good. My biggest takeaways is that the Giants are ready. They're under the microscope. Everyone's watching. It's New York media. They're always under a microscope. But Jaxson Dart specifically, all eyes are on him. Can he command the offense? Can he make that second year leap that we're hoping he can? Is Malik Nabers going to continue to progress, or will he have a setback? I'm praying he doesn't. And will the Giants, hopefully they play this right and they don't rush him back? And will the young defensive players kind of make that step forward in Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeaux, Deonte Banks, Colton Hood? Will any of these young guys, Arvell Reese, make plays during their young careers? It's only the beginning of training camp, but these are the players that I ultimately think have the most pressure and could potentially turn this franchise around under the John Harbaugh era. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already for weekly training camp and in-season episodes where I give you my hot takes and what I think this team is, what I think the potential for this team is. So thanks again, and bet the over.